How's everybody doing? The segment today, we're going to talk about pitching 101. This is something that I was very blessed to do at a young age and to pitch at a high level and to understand the importance of three things that I like to focus on, which is balance, direction, and finishing. Um, I think when we think about pitching, everyone has to understand that to me, there are three things that has to happen within a delivery. Um, First one is balance. You can't really start or do anything without balance. Your balance is going to lead to your direction. Your direction is going to lead to your finish. And so when all of that is in sync, it's a little bit easier for you to understand everything else. It's easier for you to throw other pitches. It's easier for you to stay in a strike zone, compete in a strike zone with every pitch, whether it's a fastball, two seam, change up, cutter, slider, breaking ball, split finger, whatever you may throw. The main thing that you cannot do is rush after your balance. And so when you're going through your delivery to start off, the main focus is making sure that you're balanced over the rubber. And what I mean by that is you want to make sure your weight is over the rubber before you start home plate. And so for that, that's the balance side. Once we get into after you have completed your balance, your direction to home plate, that's going to line you up to make sure that you can throw the ball for a competitive pitch. Every pitch doesn't have to be a strike. Every pitch has to be around the zone. Um, that's going to be your main focus on pitching is being able to make a pitch away look like a strike, even though you may be trying to throw it for a ball. So the main thing is you do not want to waste a pitch that's too far off the plate. You want to make sure that every pitch has a chance to one be swung at or two called a strike. You want batters in the box swinging the bat. That's something that as a pitcher you want batters to put the ball in play. For one, it helps your defense out. They play better defense because they're always alert. It moves the game faster. And then the main thing is it gets the umpire calling strikes. And so you may go into the game throwing strikes, filling the zone up, and it may come a pitch that's late in the game with two strikes, and everybody's in flow. The game is moving along, and you may throw that one pitch off the plate or two balls off. That umpire may be in such a rhythm that you may get that strike call. So understanding your tempo, understanding how throwing strikes can help you. It starts with making sure that you're balanced. I've seen a lot of youth kids come up, and one thing that is consistent with all the guys that throw strikes is they have great balance. And so, as I get into the handbook that I have passed out to my players, and we have always talked about, the first thing that's on the list is pitching. Okay, that's something that you have to understand you have to be good at as a player. That's something that you have to take pride in because the whole thing behind it is you have to want to understand how can I throw more strikes at a high level? How can I throw it at a high ratio? How can I pound the zone over and over and over to keep my team in the game, to keep my defense behind me ready to play? That's the goal. Okay. So balance, you want to be over the rubber. Okay. For your direction is glove side, you want to stay closed. Okay. And what I'm talking about there is your glove side here. Okay. You don't want to be, when I'm setting up, okay, you don't want to be too far open. You want to make sure this front shoulder is closed as long as possible to your target. Okay. That's the front side with your glove being closed, your front side, your strong glove side. Okay. You want to make sure this front elbow is not able to just drop. You want to be strong here. You want to be able to hold it strong. So when you're going forward, you're able to control the ball, you're able to control your body, your upper body, and you're still in balance as you're taking your direction to home plate. Okay. After you start your direction and after you start to attack home plate, the next thing is your backside. The best thing for me, what I teach a lot of young kids is you want to drive off the inside of your back foot. That's going to allow you to push down into the rubber. That's going to allow you to maximize your backside and drive through the plane before your release point. Okay. Finishing out front, that's your finish. So your chest, your core, everything there, you want everything going forward towards your target. Everything going towards your catcher, everything forward. It's not on a downward deal like going down, but you want to finish going downhill to your target. Okay. Um, that's the levels of knowing your mechanics. Um, Everybody position as to getting their balance over the rubber is different. Nobody's the same. Um, your direction, you want to make sure that you get on that straight line to home plate as soon as possible. Um, and then your finish, you have to finish out front. Okay. Regardless whether you're 3/4 over the top, whether you throw low 3/4, to me, you have to release out front, out of your nose. If you do get on the side of the ball, that has to be a consistent release point, no doubt. And that's something that, again, you hear me say a lot in all my podcasts is you have to stay consistent with it. So your release point out front, that has to be consistent. So now we're going to talk about after your balance, after your direction, after you finish, follow through, everything there. For pitchers for 14 in high school, what should they be more concerned with? To me, velocity is a big thing. You have to have velocity to compete. You have to have velocity to make teams. You have to make velocity to be seen. Okay. From 14U to high school, I have seen that anywhere between 80 and 93 is where you want to work toward. Of course, 93 is being, that's at the top. Okay. 80 is more so 14, 15U, 80, 82, 83. That's a good speed. You start creeping 16U, you want to touch, 85, 88, somewhere up in there. And then, of course, your juniors and seniors, if you're one of those guys, uh, 88 to 93, that's where you want to be. Anything above that, you're special. All right. Command, being able to command both sides of the plate with your fastball. Okay. Like that's something that for me is very important that you are able to throw fastballs away, cross corner, and you're able to pitch inside on both sides of the plate. Righties, you have to be able to throw into lefties. Lefties, you have to be able to throw into righties. Not to mention, you have to be able to throw inside arm side to righties. And lefties, you have to be able to throw inside arm side to lefties. That's something that you have to develop, and it takes time, but you have to develop to be able to own both sides of the plate. Because the hitter, he's going to give you one. But as a pitcher, we have to understand that if I want to get this big hitter out, what is it in his swing that he's struggling with or that he can't hit? And so if I have a big pull hitter, I'm not going to start off inside. I'm going to start off away. And I may stay away. But when I do go inside, I don't want to miss inside, meaning I don't want to miss out over the plate. I want to make sure that I hit my spot inside and it can be a ball. The best way to do that is you have to make sure that you're balanced. You have to make sure that your direction is good. And most of all, you have to finish out front. So that balanced direction and that finish is how you can compete in the strike zone to make your pitches. Okay. The other thing is movement. You know, that's where we talk about the cutters. That's where we talk about the two seamers. Again, the balance is very important when you start throwing balls that are going to move by you manipulating the ball to go left or to go right. The endurance, this is where we get into the extra conditioning, all of that stuff there. That'll be on a different podcast. But the endurance of being able to compete mentally, being able to compete physically, that's the conditioning side. 9U, 13U, for me, just be able to command away. Let's start there. It's very important that you have command before velocity. Velocity comes second in my eyes, dealing with youth baseball pitchers. Velocity is great. Velocity will allow you to make mistakes up in the zone, down in the zone at the 9U, 13U level. Movement is a plus. Endurance is a plus as well. Okay. Being the complete pitcher, which is something that I think I ran across my pitching coach that he gave me this book and it had the complete picture in it. And when I looked at it, it had a lot of things in it that I was already doing. And at this age, I think I was 16. I was in high school. I was a sophomore. And the first thing I saw was arm care. And I said, well, I do arm care because I do bands. I played quarterback. So I threw a lot of football pretty much all season, year round. Threw baseball. I long toss a lot. But that wasn't what arm care was. Arm care was your band routine. Arm care was your conditioning. Arm care was icing. Arm care was stretching. That's what arm care is. You have to make sure that the arm care side of things have to take place overall. Strength and conditioning, get it in the weight room, strengthening your legs, your core, your lower back. That's something that you can do at home. You don't need to go to a gym. You can do squats, you can do lunges, you can do crunches every night, you can do sit-ups every night, push-ups every night, lunges, squats, sit-ups, abs, crunches, all of those things That's strength and conditioning. Okay. You can go out and run, do all that. That's the conditioning side, but the strengthening side for youth players, you do not need a gym. Okay. All you need is a set of bands and a little bit of work ethic. Stay consistent with it, and that's going to help you out there. Delivery mechanics. Here we go. Going right back to the balance and direction. You know, the the easiest thing for me is getting guys to understand what the tower drill is for. I'm a big tower drill fan. That's what I grew up on. When I played, we did it in rookie ball, did it in double A, low A, high A, triple A. Guys in the big leagues do it. Um, I don't think there's anything good or bad doing it. I think for me, it allows you to repeat your delivery and work on your mechanics, any flaws you have without having the stress of having that on your arm. I think for the most part, the perception of it is you're not actually throwing a ball. But for me, if I can do dry drills and I can do 20 to 25, or even do 40 high leg kick, 40 slide steps, that's not going to be the same as doing 40 throws from the high leg kick and 40 throws from the slide step. To me, I need those reps. It's like hitting off the tee, as opposed to hitting live pitching. You have to find someone to actually throw to you that amount of time that you hit off the tee. So if you take 160 swings off the tee, who's going to throw you 160 balls? So for me, delivery mechanics, you can use a towel drill, you can use the back of your hat. I think those work. That's what we use when I was coming up. And you have to be able to practice in the mirror and be consistent doing that. Locating your fastball, changing speeds, the quality of your breaking ball. Um, all of those things will always come back to making sure that you have your balance. Okay, we have to start there to make sure once we have our balance, everything now can lead to a better direction to home plate. And so that direction, once you get to your release point, that's going to help you locate your fastball. When you get to your release point, that's going to help you change speeds. And so now throwing your changeup, throwing your cutter, throwing your breaking ball, those things will allow you, once you have your balance and your direction good and solid and consistent, and you can repeat it over and over and over. Now you're able to locate better. You're able to keep the ball down on your off speeds, and you're able to throw a quality breaking ball for a strike. That's the key. If you can throw a quality breaking ball for a strike, that's huge. Okay. Everyone can throw a breaking ball in the dirt. But you got to think about hitters. If they see it down and it's not a strike early, they're not going to swing. Your whole goal is you want to make that breaking ball look like a strike. And as they start their swing, it's out of the zone. Now, when you throw it for a strike, they may give up on it. So that's the action that you want to be able to control your breaking ball to make sure that when you do throw it for a strike, whether it's 3-2 or 2-2, that they're froze. Okay? You want them to bend their back, come back in, and that's a strike. Okay? Controlling the running game. I don't think a lot of youth teams work on holding runners. I don't think pitchers are taught how to vary their looks. Some pitchers are not taught what a slide step is. I think all youth players should slide step with a run at first. That's just my thought. I think when a runner gets a second, there should be some type of variation of looks to second base. When you talk about controlling a running game, it's not about the catcher. Okay. Some coaches or some players feel like, okay, we need a good catcher to throw guys out. No. The pitcher has to do his job first. And your job is to make sure that the runner at second base stop his feet. Okay. There's no way you can throw home and allow that run at second base to get a good jump. You got to remember, as pitchers, we're moving at our time. We're not in a rush. The game doesn't start until we throw the ball. So for me, if it's a run at second base, I always feel there comes a pitch where you can pick them off. There comes a pitch. At some point, when these runners at the youth level are at second base, you can pick them off. You just got to know when. And so controlling the running game goes into detail as to the pitcher being aware, shortstop, second base being aware. When the runner's at first, the first baseman understanding what a short lead is and what a big league is. And I can go into detail on how guys at first base get a sign, and you can kind of tell if they're about to go. I have some teams that we play and they'll say, hey, big league, or they'll yell out a color, red, green, or they'll say 4, 4.5. So the first baseman is basically counting the steps of the runner as he get off of first base. And for me, I like that because now we're getting into a cat and mouse game. Okay. And so when there are games like that, and I've had a few coaches that I've coached against, and I've had to go to my players within the first or second inning and say, hey, this is what we're doing at first base. This is what we're doing at second base. I need you guys to watch this. And I need you guys to pay attention to this. And now the game gets fun because it's not just your regular still first or still second, still third. That's not your regular motion. So now when we talk about controlling the running game, now the pitchers, we have to think a little bit. It's not on the side of when should we pick. It's on a deal of now we may have a 3-second hold, may have a 2-second hold, or we may have a 3 to 4 to 5-second hold slide step. Or you may just hold and step off to see if he's going to go. All of those things there make sure that the runner's feet stop. To me, that's controlling the running game. Fielding your position. Man, I've lost some games where we could not throw the ball to first. That was hit back to the pitcher. So at practice, of course, we work at it. But there's one thing about that throw that if you're not a pitcher, it seems easy, but it's not. I think when players understand you have to make it natural, you have to make it where you're not thinking. So when you feel the ball, you have to become an infielder. And you have to move at that pace as if you was throwing from third, second, short, as if you was playing catch with the first baseman. And you just have to hit him in the chest. That goes back to how you play catch is very important. And so fielding your position, always act like you're a shortstop and you're just playing catch with the first baseman. Games are won and lost. I've seen it, been a part of it on both sides as a coach. And that's it. Make sure you move your feet. Anytime you feel the ball on the mound, pitchers, understand this. Anytime you feel the ball on top of the mound, you have to get off the mound and get on the flat ground, then throw. It's very tough to throw off the mound to first base at an angle. That's something that you want to make sure you clear, get off the mound, make the throw, he's out. Okay? Makeup. So we talk about makeup. Uh, this is something that I learned in pro ball. I wish I understood and I knew about makeup as a high school pitcher. Um, Adversity. That's your makeup. How do you handle adversity? What is his makeup when he goes to a 3-ball count? What is his makeup when he just gave up a double? Okay. Is he trying to throw harder? Is he locating? Did he all of a sudden get rattled? Okay. Does he give up a double and then go to a 3-ball count? Now his body language is bad. What's his makeup? The biggest thing for pitchers, you have to have a poker face. I need to know you probably just struck out the side. I need to know you probably just threw 2 strikes. Even if it's a 3-0 count, I cannot tell that it's a 3-0 count by your body language. You grab the ball, you get back on the mound, you compete. You get in the strike zone. You stay in the strike zone. If they're going to hit you, fine. But what we can't do is allow a couple of hits, and then we have a hit batter, and then we have a 3-ball count. Now coach has to come out and calm you down. That's your makeup. How do you deal with adversity when things are not going right on the mound? Okay. You can have 2 or 3 errors behind you. Are you still going to be in the strike zone? Are you not going to give in? I've seen a lot of great, good youth baseball pitchers that could not possess the makeup that needed to be for their talent level. Okay. They can go into a game, have 2 great innings, and they go out for the 3rd inning. In the first pitch, the umpire calls a ball. Second pitch, umpire calls a ball. And the pitcher and the catcher, they think it's all strikes, but the umpire called ball. So now we have a 2-0 count. Okay, now the pitcher tries to throw this next one hard as he can. Now we 3-0. Here go the wheels falling off. This is the time where pitchers, I can explain to you guys this. You have to slow the game down. Okay? You step off the mound. You relax. Take a deep breath. A 3-0 count, you think it's 0-0. You start over. You reset it. And the thing is, if you walk the guy, it's okay. But you have to understand, you have to step off. You have to collect your thoughts. You have to relax a little bit. Then you get back on the mound and it's strike 1. Okay. Now we got 3-1. Take a deep breath. Focus. Boom. Strike 2. Now it's 3-2. Now the pressure is back on a hitter. Because now, as he thought that he was off the hook, as he thought that he was going to have an easy buy-in to get the first with a walk, now he's 3-2. So he's in protect mode. He's still in swing mode, but he's in protect mode. Now let's focus up. So now this is where your command comes in away. This is where your balance come in to make sure that your direction is good. And we're just going to finish out front. Now that 3-0 count it's fine because mentally you have checked in. Mentally here, you haven't lost it. And so now your makeup as to where you're trying to get, as to where you're at, you just reversed it. And so now, you get him out. Let's just say he pops up. All right. Now you walk around the mound. You got a little confidence going. Okay. You get the next guy out. Boom, your shortstop. He makes an error. Okay. So now the guy's still second. So now let's get into now controlling the running game and keeping your pose and that adversity, you keeping your makeup. To me, your makeup is how can you stay focused. You're not out of the woods yet. You got out of a jam. Now you got to get your shortstop out of the jam because part of playing baseball is picking up your teammates. So right now, you're trying to pick up your teammate by making sure you stay focused, making sure you stay committed to what your job is. That's throwing strikes. That's being in the strike zone. That's making sure you keep locating your fastball. That's making sure you're changing speeds good. That's making sure if you're throwing your breaking ball that you balance, that your direction is good. So all of this from the pitching side, now you're trying to focus here. You're trying to stay focused and not lose it. You're not worried about the error. What you're focused on is getting this next batter. Okay, you throw strike one, throw strike two, now you're up. You're still not out of the woods. I've seen it. Now you staying focused, and now you're dialing in to get down in the zone to get the out. Last one is pitchability. For me, pitchability is a pitcher able to throw strikes with 2 or 3 pitches. Fastball, changeup, fastball, breaking ball. Having a third pitch is a plus. From 9U to 13U, fastball, changeup, that's great. 14U to high school, you have to develop those 3 pitches. A fastball, a breaking ball, and a changeup. Preferably changeup first. The breaking ball, for me, comes over time, comes with strength, comes with the ability to understand how to spin the ball, get the ball out front, let the ball work for you. Don't try to work the ball. And what I mean by that is you don't want to overthrow the ball. Okay. You want to make sure that when you're making a pitch for a breaking ball, there are 2 or 3 steps that I like to tell players. Pitchability, when you're throwing a breaking ball, is you want to throw to a spot. Okay, so you want to make sure you throw, if you're righty, you want that ball to break to the catcher right knee. Okay, that means that ball is going to cross the plate in the front and it should cross the plate in the back. Okay, the next thing is that's for a strike. The next one is being able to throw the ball at the front elbow of a righty and let it break to the catcher's chest. That's a get-me-over breaking ball. 9 times out of 10, you'll throw those pitches, you'll throw that breaking ball, You're looking for a take. You're not looking for a swing and miss. When you're throwing the ball to the catcher right shin, that's a swing and miss. If you're trying to throw the ball in the dirt, your target is right between the catcher's legs. You want the catcher to be able to drop and block to where that ball now can bounce and hit him in the chest. You don't want the catcher to slide. You don't want him to go either way. Okay, so learning how to pitch with the ability to move the ball how you want it is very important. And of course, it goes to our top two. How can we stay balanced? How can we have that direction? And then the last deal, of course, is to finish. Okay, so I hope this helped you guys, young pitchers, understand, the levels of knowing your mechanics, understanding velocity, command. Those two can go two ways at, different ages. Movement, that's important, but that takes time to come. You want to make sure that your endurance, okay? Um, the complete picture, I live by those rules there when I was coming up through high school, and I learned that at a very young age. And I think one of the main things that now we are teaching our guys that are in our program is how to build their arm strength, learn a band routine, learn a plyo routine, and understanding arm care is very important. And so, hope you guys enjoyed the pitching 101. Of course, I was a pitcher, and so this is one of my longer podcasts, which will always be long when I'm speaking on pitching. And that's it. Have a great day. Dropped a half a grand on my lodging. Sprint the sprint went right upside my noggin. Think about Robin, maybe getting a job in employee of the year at Baskin Robbins, living life.